Hello guys, MJ here with MB Knowledge. So we have examination questions. The first one says, a student carried out an experiment to determine the magnetic properties of two metals, that is metal A and B, using a permanent magnet as shown in the figure below. Okay. When the link was broken, the following results were obtained. So when you look at the first diagram here, two metals, okay, they've been put in contact with a magnet. And look at what is happening in the first diagram, okay? In the second diagram, after the link has been broken, what has happened? Metal B, everything goes down, but metal A, it is still attached to each other, even after breaking the link with the magnet. Identify, question A saying identify the metals A and B. So according to their behavior, after removing them from a magnet, we should be able to identify the materials. If you remember in part 1, we looked at the properties of two materials, that is iron and steel. We said these have got a larger scale of applications. What method does that? Which material gives out the ability to attract easily? You'd agree with me that you remember that is iron. Okay, so iron easily gives out the ability to attract the moment you break the contact with a magnet. So metal B is an iron, meaning metal A, it should be what? Steel. Because of its property, steel, when it gains the ability to attract, or when it gains the magnetism, it takes time for it to give out. Question B, mention one use of metal A due to its behavior in the experiment. So when you look at the behavior of metal A, it has the capacity to keep or retain its magnetism. All right? It takes time for it to give out that ability to attract. Such a material, these are the materials that we normally use when we are making permanent magnets. So metal A here can be used to make permanent magnets. That is one of the uses, okay, because of its behavior, because of its hardness to give out the ability to attract, or the magnetism, it is used to make permanent magnets. Question C, give two advantages of using electromagnets rather than permanent magnets in cranes used to lift metal sheets. In an industry where they are lifting or changing the position of metal sheets from one place to another using cranes, okay? Now, for those things to be lifted from one position to the other, they're supposed to be attracted, okay? Now, you can imagine if you use a permanent magnet, okay, they'll be able to attract those metal sheets at that particular point. But now, when releasing them, because they are permanent magnets, it means they cannot be released. The magnetism in that permanent magnet cannot be removed at that particular time. So the advantage, okay, the advantage of using electromagnets, number one, is that the electromagnets, you can control its strength. You can either increase it or reduce it. How do you do that? Is by controlling the current which passes through them. So that is the first advantage of using electromagnets. You can adjust their field strength. Okay, if you want them to be very strong, or if you want them to be a bit strong, it is you to control them by controlling the current which is passing through them. Number two, in a case where there is power cut, the permanent magnets cannot be built with a backup power supply, okay, which will make them continue or to have that magnetism. They cannot be made to have a power bank. But for electromagnets, they can be built or designed in such a way that they have a backup power. When there's a power cut, that backup power will continue sustaining that electromagnet to maintain its magnetic grip so that we avoid accidents. You can imagine the metal sheets have been lifted and then there's a power cut. What would happen? It means those metal sheets would be falling. Now, to avoid such, electromagnets can be built with a backup power to maintain the magnetic grip. So that is the advantage of using electromagnets over permanent magnets. The diagram below shows a steel magnet being withdrawn from a coil of wire in the diagram shown to point as far as away as possible. When you look at the setup here, just the setup itself, withdrawing the magnets, then here when you look at the power supply, which is here, we said this symbol here represents alternating current. Now when there is a steel bar, okay, and then you are supplying it with alternating current. Alternating current, it's a current which changes its direction every now and every second. It changes its direction. Do you remember what we mentioned? We said for a material to become a magnet, the dipoles are supposed to face in one direction. Now in this case, if you're using alternating current, the dipoles will still face in different directions. They'll still be confused. So in this case, what is this scenario? It means here we are not making a magnet, but we are removing the magnetism in a magnet. In short, we are demagnetizing. So the question is saying, what is the effect on the steel magnet? You've seen, it's a magnet. So what will happen here when you supply it with alternating current and then you're withdrawing from the solenoid? What will happen? No change, which is not correct. Becomes magnetized, not correct. Becomes demagnetized. Let us see B. D becomes a stronger magnet. The three answers are not correct. The correct answer is C, becomes demagnetized. So wherever you see alternating current and then they are placing a magnet there, just know that that is a process of demagnetizing. So C is the correct answer. Question 3. The figure B7.1 shows magnetic field lines between the poles of two magnets. Name point R. When you look at point R right here where it is, point R is in the middle here. There are magnetic field lines there if you pay attention. Okay, these are magnetic field lines and the arrows. Then there is this point here. So there is no magnetic field where R is. So that particular point is what we call as a neutral point because there is no magnetic field. So it's a neutral point. Question B. If P is a south pole, what are the poles Q and T? If P is a south pole. So P is a south pole. Now, before you need to understand what is happening here in terms of the magnetic field lines. Okay, so when you look at, if you remember what we talked about when we are checking on how the magnetic field lines are moving, the properties of the magnetic field lines. In lesson 2, we said that the magnetic field lines are pointing from the north to where? To the south. Okay, so that is how the magnetic field lines are designed, pointing from the north to the south. So meaning the arrow is pointing to the south pole. So if you look at the two magnets here and their magnetic field lines, they are both pointing away from these ends. This simply means these are the north poles. Okay, because magnetic field line will point from the north to the south. So meaning Q here, it should be a north pole. Even S should also be a north pole because the magnetic field lines, look at the arrows. Look at the arrows here. They are pointing to the south, meaning these two are north poles. So if Q is a north pole, even S is a north pole. So this type of a pattern can only be formed where magnetic field lines are pointing away from this end. They can only be formed when you have two north poles. Okay, so now we can name this the poles of Q and T. So pole Q, or the end Q here, is a north pole and the end T is a south pole. Question C. Explain how soft iron keepers help magnets retain their magnetism for a longer period of time. The behavior of the magnetic field on a magnet, when you just look at, even just from the diagram, you'd see that they want to spread out to the environment. So that spreading out to the environment is what we call as leakage. Now, if there's a leakage in the magnetic field, it means your magnet will easily lose its ability to attract after a long time of period. So the iron keepers are there to reduce that spreading to the environment. How do they do that? By providing low resistance path for the magnetic flask to circulate. So providing that low resistance, it means they will not spread out that much to the environment. Hence, what are they doing? They are preventing the magnetic field from escaping into the environment. So that is how the iron keepers are making these magnets to retain their magnetism for a longer period of time. Another question. The diagram below show magnetic field patterns between north and south poles of the magnets. Okay? Previously, we were looking at the magnetic field lines, the pattern between the north pole and the north pole. We saw that the magnetic field lines were pointing away, and there was a neutral point because they are like poles. That is what causes repulsion. Now, in this case, it's a north and a south. Which pattern do you think would be correct? They're saying which of the numbered diagram shows the correct magnetic field pattern. In this case, when you look at number 1, this is not correct because a north and a south, you cannot have arrows pointing to the north. That is not correct. So already number 1 out of the picture. When you go to number 2, again you cannot have magnetic field lines pointing from the south to the north. So even number 2, not correct. Let us go to number 3. Again, you cannot have magnetic field lines coming from the south to the north. Not correct. So even this one, not correct. Meaning the correct pattern in this case is number 4. Reason is because you have magnetic field lines pointing from the north to the south. So thank you very much, guys, for watching up to the end. If you enjoyed, please like and comment, also share.